hoping to uncover concrete evidence against Silco and Powder's whereabouts. Soon after having Vi released from prison, both Vi and Caitlyn sneak into the Undercity, where Vi beats up some local thugs and steals their clothes to help disguise Caitlyn's enforcer uniform. The two grab some food from a local fish vendor, who gives Vi a napkin with a mysterious symbol written on it. That symbol, Vi knows, leads to the back door of the Undercity biggest brothel, where Vi seeks answers with the Yodel who owns it. In there, Vi and Caitlyn acknowledge for the very first time what soon turns out to be a mutual attraction. Vi confronts Caitlyn and asks her, quite directly, if she prefers women or men.
So what'll it be, man or woman?
That is usually the first step within any gay relation. You not only have to find out if the person you're interested in could be potentially interested in you, you also have to find out if they'd be open to having a same-sex relationship. Caitlyn, confronted by Vi, takes a step back, surprised and overwhelmed, but doesn't back away entirely. In fact, she manages to maintain eye contact with Vi without turning away. Met with Vi's proposal to spend some time with a man called Pim, she acts unnaturally, in a shy manner, clearly feeling out of place. Arcane writers, at this point, are already leaving hints for us. And what they tell us is that Caitlyn does not feel natural in a possibly romantic scenario with a man. It's not a situation she'd feel comfortable in. She acts awkwardly. You could almost assume this is the way she is. Perhaps not as experienced with potentially romantic situations, a bit apprehensive, but you couldn't be more wrong. Soon after, we notice Caitlyn's change of behavior. She's not acting like a person unfamiliar with romantic scenarios, unaware of her own sexual orientation. She embraces it. She is sitting in a very comfortable way, confident, decisive, serene, relaxed. She knows that she prefers women, and she indirectly is letting Vi know that, which Vi welcomes. Vi's mood shifts here. Perhaps for the very first time since she was released from prison, maybe for the first time in years of solitude, she smiles. She feels clearly excited, curious, happy to receive an answer that she was maybe subconsciously looking for. An answer that they both soon explore. That is the most obvious purpose of that scene, to have that connection acknowledged, to let us know this isn't a good friend scenario, especially because Vi directly called Caitlyn hot and gave her an already iconic at this point nickname. But that is not the only purpose of the scene. There's at least 3 others. Amanda Overton, one of Arcane's main Caitlyn and Vi writers, commented and let us know this scene was actually cut short. From a cutscene. I have to say, it's always nice to meet another curious woman. She means hot, she's lying on it. Caitlyn's got her primed for secret spilling, but she just notices Vi is gone. Shit, Caitlyn leaves a disappointed woman in her wake. Should we talk about why this was cut? These 2 frames did the equivalent visual storytelling of 2 written scenes. It helped preserve the surprise of Caitlyn's arrival to save Vi. We could all imagine how Caitlyn got the intel of where Vi went. Based on what we're told, we can assume another purpose of that scenario was showing us Caitlyn already cares about Vi enough to immediately leave a possibly affectionate situation to follow her new companion and, ultimately, to save her. We don't know how she left, what she did to find Vi, but we can imagine she rushed off the moment she realized Vi could be pursuing dangerous people on her own. But not just that. Arcane, in these 12 seconds, excelled at visual storytelling yet again. Nothing in that short scene is there by accident, and based on Amanda Overton's tweets, we know that the animators took their time to present us a room that represents Caitlyn's essence. Caitlyn Kiraman comes from the Kiraman family, one of the ruling houses of Piltover. Eager to see the world for herself and disapproving of the traditional, elitist lifestyle that her parents had raised her in, Caitlyn joins the Enforcers as a young woman to make a name for herself. Caitlyn always felt that her parents, especially her mother, sheltered her, thus hindering her personal growth in their hopes of protecting her and convincing her to follow in their footsteps to effectively carry on their family name. In reality, Caitlyn is driven by her sense of justice, and even though everything was provided for her, even though she grew up surrounded by upper classes lifestyle in a house filled with flowers, classical music, political discussion. She still felt like a misfit. She found her true self when she joined the forces, when she decided to reach for the gun and excel at hunting. When asked by Grayson,
Begs the question, young Kerman. What are you shooting for?
She doesn't know yet. But the visual part of that scene and what happens later on in the episode partially give us an answer. She's not just shooting for justice, she's also shooting to be there for Vi, to help her wherever she needs support. This is, in fact, what the visual part of that short scene is also meant to tell us. So much is presented in these 12 seconds, so much that is crucial to Caitlyn's very core. You not only see Caitlyn's answer to Vi's question, that she prefers women, you can see the way she is sitting, confident, relaxed, almost seductive and inviting. She's holding a mask, which she either took off that woman's face, or she found it to cover herself with, which seems more likely since the woman is still wearing one. Either way, it represents showing her true self, as opposed to scared, uncomfortable Caitlyn we saw in her previous scene. Taking a mask off, revealing herself. Visually, Caitlyn's surrounded by forest imitation, nature, hunting trophies, a bow and arrows, portraying the lifestyle she chose for herself, as opposed to a counselor's daughter's life that was picked for her. It almost begs a question, did they actually randomly just have a room representing Caitlyn's essence so damn well? I think the scene needs to be interpreted in yet another way. It's not about who Caitlyn is. It's not about her telling Vi she prefers women, that she could be potentially interested in her. I mean, of course, these things too, but it's about Vi seeing that. Vi is, up to this day, the only person that got to know the real Caitlyn in what can only be called a slow burn relationship. One where people acknowledge their mutual attraction, but for various circumstances choose not to pursue that straight away. Instead, they slowly get to know each other, get to find out their deepest secrets, desires, before they actually, fully and willingly enter a relationship. Caitlyn's closest friend was Jace, and sure, they knew each other well, they knew each other enough for Jace to tease Caitlyn, or for her to know that she can forge Vi's release form on behalf of Jace, being certain he will cover for her.
I'm a misfit too, I suppose.
But even Jace needed to be specifically told that Caitlyn is a misfit. Vi, on the other hand, saw that. She realized that while exploring the Undercity together, experiencing first season's events counting on one another repeatedly. And that short scene represented not only who Caitlyn was, not just the fact that she's gay, but the fact that Vi saw her the way she was straight away. In these short 12 seconds, she saw her true self, the way she was in her most comfortable circumstances, surrounded by nature, by objects strictly tied to her hunting passion, wearing no masks, revealing her essence. And her reaction to that was priceless. All I wrote in the script was, Vi raises an eyebrow, curious. And what I got was an emotional revelation. So go and rewatch that scene. It hits differently when you know just how much has been put in these 12 seconds. Not just the fact that Caitlyn's gay, not just the fact that she might be interested in Vi, not just the fact that she showed who she is to us. More importantly, she showed who she is to Vi, and Vi saw her exactly for what she was, in that very scene. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Stay safe.